Hi everyone, it's Angela here. Today we're going to create a document library and customize permissions to host secure files. So to create a document library, you need to be a site owner and be on the home page of your site. So home page, you should therefore see in the new button, click in there, new menu and document library. And give your document library a name that says what it is, or up to you really. Secure files. Description is good because then, those who are using the document library will understand what they're using it for. And if we want it to show in the left navigation, we leave it ticked. Otherwise, we can untick that. So click on create and voila, that's the first stage. Your document library is created. Now, whilst in the document library, or anytime you want to do any edit or look at the properties of a document library, you go into the library, into your site settings or cog, library settings, more library settings, and this will take you to the properties of the document library. So if you wanted to do anything with a document library, change the version settings, etc., this is the properties. But today we're dealing with permissions. So permissions and management, under that tab, you should see permissions for this document library. Click on there. And as you can see, we just created the document library, but it has taken the permissions of the site, and these are the default groups that you have on your SharePoint site. So wherever you create, you get the default groups permission flowing to that object unless you decide otherwise. So as we can see the members of the site are already there, the owners and visitors, and this is inherited from the site. So what we need to do if we want to customize permissions, we need to break inheritance, and that's by stopping inheriting permissions. This tab here, you get alerts that you are going to break inheritance, and you click yes. And breaking inheritance means now if I should go back to the top site and add a group or create something, it's not going to affect this folder. This document library has unique permissions, and that's going to stay like that until perhaps you delete. Say if you make a mistake, you can click on here to delete that unique permissions. But this is what we wanted to do, because remember, we're customizing this library so it can host secure files for a certain group. So the next thing now is, who do we take out and who do we add in? So perhaps the scenario is that we no longer want the entire members of this site and the visitors to have access to this document library. So we click on that, like I've selected, and click on remove, and that will remove that group. So if you're a part of that group, a member or visitors group, you no longer have access to be taken out. Now, word of caution, don't take out the owners group, because for you to be doing this, you're probably a member, and if you were to take this out now, then your task is finished. You won't be able to have access. So leave the members group in whilst you're doing that, or ensure that the person who's doing it has full permissions and you can grant them. But we're happy in this case, in this scenario. Now I need to add someone else then to become, have access to this folder. You can add them by clicking the grant permission and type in the name and share. Now, when you're about to share, and as you can see, share, secure, and its contents. So it's anything in this document library will be made accessible to whoever I add in here. Always good practice, just look at the show options here. So it's saying that if ever I add the person's name and I click on share, they're going to get an invitation. And that might be what we want them to get, an invitation, so they can click on it and come to the document library. But at the same time, I have an option to change that, to change the permission level at this point in time. So we saw the default was edit, but I can be asking someone to come in and just have read only and share with that person. or, you know, have a restricted view, you know, so they can, you know, perhaps view and not download, and so forth. And they can have design, you know, you can approve things when you've got design, and so forth. And so this is what you need to do if you want to just check and not just follow the default. But in this case, if we're happy with that, then we'll click send. And this is how you'd customize permissions. Remember, keep the site owner in them. Now, if there's any reason that you might need, maybe one member of the site owner shouldn't have access, because, you know, it could be HR related stuff, and then you need to just add them singularly in here. So add the person's name here, the one that should have, and then, you know, so long as it's not you and you're able to create what you're doing, then you take out the group. But don't take the group without adding someone in here, otherwise you won't be able to have access and you might fall on your IT or something like that. So that is it. That is all that we've done. That we've clicked back on my document library. So now anything that happens at the top level, and just to make sure that that's what I to prove what I said, if we go back to the home and we look at the settings, when it decides to come up, there we are, settings, and we say site permissions. So this is for the site, and we look in here, you know, full control, the members team are there. And another way of looking at this same thing is going through the advanced option, which I like, which is just easier on the eye. And these are the groups there, and that's fine. Yeah. So now if we go to the secure file folder, or document library rather, and we look at the library settings and more library settings, and we're just looking at this one, we will see that the disinheritance is there, and, you know, inheritance is not flowing down. So this is how you customize permissions. And don't forget, you need to add the right people in there and take out those that you don't want. If you ever felt you made a mistake and you wanted to delete that, or you were just trying it out, you can click on this, delete unique permissions, and it will take you back to the original. So I hope this has been helpful, and see you next time.